Hello, everybody, and this is a little bit different, recording. We want to give a little bit more overview of where we are actually heading with Atheios. Atheios is a blockchain focused on gaming, and I wanted to provide you some insights a little bit where we are going and what we want to do. So my name is LegacyTrx. I'm part of the Atheios core team and thought I put some slides together in order to show what we are doing. So let's start with the market itself, gaming, right? It's a huge market. I think for 2020 they said 2.7 billion gamers, and they're spending like 150 or 160 billion US dollars. That's an enormous sum. So there is a good foundation where Atheios really could take a position. So looking at the market itself, you see also there are a lot of popular games, maybe not even games which are in the billion-dollar league, but a lot of things technology-wise has also happened. And the good news is here, there is a huge market for gaming and it's growing. And there's also a lot of technology out there which allowed us to, build those games. Specifically when you look into, games you play over the internet or, multiplayer games. So the market sentiment is really good. So what is then the problem statement and what do we want to solve with Atheios? So, you have two parties, right? The game developer on one side, where it takes quite a lot of time to think through and develop a game. And then also, once you have the game, you need to run it on servers and so forth. And also that takes quite some money. On the other side, the gamer. Gaming is fun. I think everybody has experienced that, but it takes also time, and you create skills and so forth. And there's very little reward for games today, specifically if you're not a pro gamer, right? So this both to incentivize the game developer and the game player is really what we would like to do. So there is, of course, already some ideas out there, and I take here Agar.io, and you can see immediately what's happening, right? The only way how they can get money today is really via advertising. And you see that, and we think that is really not maybe the best way to go. So going away from the cluttered, screens, our solution is built around Atheios. We have an own blockchain. And for the game designer, that means the game designer decides how much he shall get for each and every game. We allow them to pre-configure that. And then also he decides on if there is somebody has waged money for participating in a game, how that amount of money is or coins is then distributed back. And that is for the game designer. On the gamer itself, they participate in the game by waging Atheios. And then based on how good they are, they have a really good possibility to earn Atheios back. And, a good example is this one here. You see here a game with a wage of 1, and then a game designer decides, okay, what goes where? So like here, 20% goes to the developer, 80% to the player, and then there's also win spread. We typically basically suggest to spread the win over 5, but different schemes are possible. And Atheios, on the framework we are having, is basically taking care of that. You do not even have to think about it. So Our solution is really to provide an easy framework to entice the game developers and the users, so the players. And once in the ecosystem, you will in the future play and participate in games across different platforms. So how do we differentiate? Atheios will work. It's not something which is basically just built for one thing or one game only. We want to do this cross-platform, and we are also open source, which means like all our code is on GitHub, and we are running it on a blockchain, which basically is again a community-owned blockchain. It is openly traded. Everyone can participate and contribute. If you're a miner, you can mine Atheios and so forth. If you're a trader, you can trade it, of course, also. So it's open, and moreover, we do not have any pre-mining. So, like I said, community-driven, open source, and we are basically an Ethereum-based blockchain. Which means you can also get into much more complicated things like, for instance, contracts and so forth. And here, as I said, if you want to mine, you can do that. At the moment, we have 4 mining pools which can be used. I want to go back a little bit to the framework we are providing. You have on the left side the game developer portal, and then for the game itself, it's on the right side, the game portal itself. And they are basically via Node.js, connected to databases. And there's also an API available. At the moment, we have support for Construct, which is, or Construct 3 actually, which is, a game development engine. We have also support for JavaScript. And then we have started to work also with Unity. There we have supporting at the moment WebGL. So all those 3 are then, you can access basically the game development tools we are providing. And think about this, like what we are providing is, of course, access to the user accounts, and then you also access to the blockchain. And then the whole part of, you start with a game, you submit the score, and then you start to build a ladder and things like this. So all this is handled in the background, so you don't need to do anything. You can really focus on the, game development itself. So where are we today? 4 games, not a lot, but at least something. There will be more coming. We are already seeing some developers coming up with new ideas, so that's cool. But that's not enough. I think we need to look also into the next steps. So one thing we will look into is to increase the visibility. Multiplayer is something which we definitely want to, start to scratch on, and then onboard more games. Mentioned that already. And then I think also what we need to look into a more simpler way to basically exchange Atheios, USD, Euro, and so forth, so the fiat currencies.